I have got a piece of hardware sitting on the bench today that rolled out of the factory doors all the way back in 1963. Think about that for a second. 3 generations of shooters have put lead through this barrel. And let me tell you, the cylinder lockup on this old warhorse is still tighter and more consistent than most of the polymer and MIM part wonders rolling off the high-speed assembly lines in 2026. Today, we are breaking down 7 wheel guns, engineered with one specific goal in mind: outlasting the person pulling the trigger. These are the revolvers that don't just tolerate high round counts, they laugh at them. This is the kind of hardware your great-grandchildren will be taking to the range long after we have cleared the bench for the last time. And my number 1 pick? It is so legendary for being overbuilt that gunsmiths across the country joke it is the only piece of gear that would survive a nuclear winter. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because today we are talking about making permanent additions to your safe. Let's get into the heavy metal. Number 7. The Ruger Redhawk. Kicking things off at number 7 is the Ruger Redhawk. Now, back in 1979, the engineers over at Ruger got a very specific set of marching orders. Management told them to design a .44 Magnum revolver that could eat the hottest, nastiest handloads on the planet all day long and never, ever break. The answer was the Redhawk. This gun is so aggressively over-engineered that ammunition manufacturers actually had to go back and rewrite their warning labels. Just take a look at those cylinder walls. They are 40% thicker than the original industry specifications called for. The top strap on this frame is beefier than what you will find on most bolt-action rifle receivers. Ruger used a unique single-spring mechanism here that spreads the recoil stress across the entire steel frame, rather than focusing it on a single point. This is not just a strong gun, it is apocalypse-proof. You have got Alaskan guides out in the bush carrying Redhawks loaded with 340-grain hard-cast lead. We are talking about hand loaders pushing these things to pressures that would turn other guns into hand grenades. And yet, after 100,000 rounds of pure, unadulterated abuse, the timing is still dead on. Ruger didn't just build a .44 Magnum here. They built a portable artillery piece. Market check. 5.5-inch .44 Magnum, 900 to 1050 new. 7.5-inch Hunter model, 950 to 1100. Super Redhawk versions in .454 Casull, 1,000 to 1,200 bucks. Number 6. The Smith Wesson Model 19. At number 6, we have the legendary Smith Wesson Model 19. You cannot talk about this gun without mentioning Bill Jordan. He was a legendary Border Patrol gunfighter who walked into the Smith & Wesson offices with a mission. He wanted a K-frame .357 Magnum that was light enough for a lawman to carry on a duty belt for 12 hours, but strong enough to end a gunfight decisively. The Model 19 Combat Magnum was the result, and it completely redefined what a law enforcement sidearm could be. The genius here was the balance. At 35 ounces loaded, it carried with the ease of a .38 Special, but it delivered the terminal performance of a .357. You had a shrouded ejector rod to protect the mechanism during a physical struggle, and it came standard with a wide target trigger and hammer right out of the box. If you find an early Model 19, look for the pinned barrel and recessed chambers. Those are the craftsmanship details that make collectors go crazy. The K-frame just fits the human hand, period. The balance point sits right on the trigger guard. It feels less like a weapon and more like a professional surgical tool. Now, to be fair, a steady diet of those lightweight, high-velocity .357 screamers can eventually cause issues with the forcing cone. But you feed them 38+ P for your range days and save the Magnums for duty. These things will outlive us all. Market check. Vintage examples. 1960s to 1970s. $800 to $1,200. Pre-lock versions. 1980s. 7 to 900. 2.5-inch snubbies, 900 to 1,400. Number 5. The Colt Trooper. Number 5 is the Colt Trooper. While the rest of the world was obsessing over the Python, the smart guys in the room were buying Troopers. This was the blue-collar working man's Colt. It shared that legendary Python DNA and accuracy, but it came in at about half the price point. From 1953 through the 80s, the Trooper evolved through several iterations. The Mark III, introduced in 1969, did something radical. It moved away from the hand-fitted parts of the past and used a completely new action with coil springs and sintered iron parts. The Colt purists at the time called it heresy, but guess what? It worked. The timing on the Mark III stayed lockstep perfect long after the old hand-fitted guns needed a tune-up. The trigger eventually smooths out to feel like glass. It borrowed the shrouded ejector rod design from the Python, and that solid rib barrel gives you a sight radius that makes long-range hits look easy. This was Colt admitting that pretty doesn't always mean practical. Highway patrol units and rural sheriffs across the country trusted their lives to the Trooper because it was a tank that happened to have a prancing pony on the side. Market check. Mark III versions, $600 to $900. Mark V models, $700 to $1,000. Early 357 Troopers, $800 to $1,300. Number 4. The Smith Wesson Model 66. Coming in at number 4 is the Smith Wesson Model 66. Imagine taking the perfection of the Model 19 and forging it entirely out of stainless steel. That is the Model 66. When this gun hit the scene in 1970, it basically made blued steel obsolete for professional duty use overnight. Stainless steel wasn't just a style choice, it was about survival. Rain, sweat, salt air, and general neglect. The 66 didn't care. Marine units and police departments in humid tropical climates demanded these. If you have ever seen a blued revolver rust shut inside a leather holster, you know exactly why this gun was a revolution. Every internal part is either stainless or specially treated. The springs don't weaken from corrosion, and the forcing cone handles flame cutting better than carbon steel ever could. The Coast Guard issued them. Alaskan guides swore by them. When your life depends on a click turning into a bang after being exposed to salt spray for months, stainless isn't a luxury, it is a requirement. Market check. Standard 4-inch, $750 to $900. 2.5-inch combat snubby, $850 to $1,100. Performance Center tuned models, $1,000 to $1,300. Number 3. The Ruger GP100. Number 3 is a personal favorite for anyone who values durability above all else. The Ruger GP100. When Ruger phased out the Security 6 in 1985, people were worried. Then they saw the GP100, and they realized Ruger hadn't just replaced the old model, they had perfected the concept of a heavy-duty revolver. This is the .357 Magnum that simply refuses to acknowledge the existence of limits. It uses a triple locking cylinder. It locks at the front, the rear, and at the crane. There isn't another mass-production revolver on the market that does that. The frame is solid steel with smaller windows to maintain structural integrity. The grip system uses a peg-style mount that will never shoot loose, no matter how much recoil you subject it to. Ruger's investment casting process creates a frame that is arguably stronger than forged steel because of the uniform heat treatment and hardness. I know competition shooters who put 50,000 rounds a year through their GP100s. You literally cannot shoot this gun loose. It just gets smoother the more you use it. Market check. 4-inch standard, $750 to $850. 6-inch target models, $800 to $950. Match champion versions, $900 to $1,100. Number 2. The Smith Wesson Model 29. At number 2, we have the heavy hitter, the Smith Wesson Model 29, the most powerful handgun in the world. When Clint Eastwood delivered that line in 1971, the Model 29 was already a legend among the Magnum-itis crowd. But after Dirty Harry, it became a cultural icon. Underneath that Hollywood fame, however, is a masterpiece of engineering. The end frame was already a battle-proven design from decades of 44 Special and 45 ACP service. Stepping up to 44 Magnum meant Smith & Wesson had to utilize higher-grade steel and much tighter tolerances. Those recessed chambers and the pinned barrels on the early S-prefix guns are a sight to behold. Smith tested these prototypes with proof loads that would have turned a lesser gun into a fragmentation grenade. They perfected the heat treatment until the frames could handle pressures that seemed to defy the laws of physics at the time. Handgun hunters and silhouette shooters have used the Model 29 to knock down steel targets at 200 meters for decades. It isn't just a monster gun, it is a precision instrument. Market check. Pre-lock 4-inch, $1,200 to $1,800. Classic 6.5-inch, $1,000 to $1,500. Nickel finish? Tack on another $200 to $400. Number 1. The Ruger Super Redhawk. But our number 1 spot isn't about Hollywood or history. It is about pure, unstoppable, mechanical function. This is a revolver so overbuilt that professional gun destroyers eventually gave up trying to break it. This is the wheel gun that makes every other firearm on this list look a little bit fragile. Behold, the Ruger Super Redhawk. When Ruger released this in 1987, they asked a simple question. What if we ignored every conventional limit? What if we built a handgun that could handle rifle pressures? Look at this frame. It extends out past the cylinder, creating a massive amount of steel to house the barrel and providing integral scope mounts machined right out of the solid block. There are no screws to vibrate loose, no bases to shift. The frame is the mount. The Super Redhawk uses dual springs that cannot bind, and the crane is thicker than the barrels on some smaller revolvers. Here is the absolute truth. Professional ammunition manufacturers use the Super Redhawk for their proof load testing. Why? Because they literally cannot blow them up. Loads that would crack an end frame or detonate a budget revolver just make the Super Redhawk yawn. The 454 Casull version generates 65,000 psi. That is rifle pressure in the palm of your hand. The cylinder gap flash can set paper on fire at 3 feet away, and the Super Redhawk handles it like it's just another Tuesday. Alaskan guides bet their lives on these when they have to track a wounded grizzly into the thick brush. It will not fail. 200,000 rounds of full power loads? No problem. No end shake. No timing issues. It is an engineering marvel. Market check. Standard 44 Magnum, $950 to $1,100. 454. Casull versions, $1050 to $1,250. The Alaskan Snubby, $1,100 to $1,400, if you can find one. The Forever Gun. These 7 revolvers prove that durability isn't just about lasting a long time, it is about lasting forever. This is proof that American engineering can still produce something genuinely unbreakable. Your grandkids won't inherit a worn-out Super Redhawk or a tired GP100. They will inherit a piece of history that is just getting broken in. From the perfect balance of the Model 19 to the indestructible nature of the Super Redhawk, these aren't just purchases. They are investments in permanence. Revolvers don't become obsolete, they become heirlooms. Tell me in the comments below, which one of these wheel guns are you leaving to your grandkids? Smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the steel that defines the word forever, and comment your favorite Magnum load. Some guns last a lifetime. These 7, they last multiple. I'll see you on the range.